Good afternoon or evening. This is your man Whodidit, coming at you with another episode, another installment to the classic series, The Scouting Report. And this one is titled, Your Enemy Knows Your Playbook. Your enemy knows your playbook. And this is coming from the eyes of a coach, a mother or a father, a counselor, some type of parental advisor, or a parental figure. Or you're in some type of leadership, maybe at work or in your household, etc. Your enemy knows your playbook, man. When you're a coach, you have to prepare your team for the crowd noise, for the heat and temperature of the game, figuratively, metaphorically, and actually, literally preparing them for the actual temperature of the game, whether it's outdoors, indoors. I know there was a situation with the Boston Celtics back in 1984, around Memorial Day, where the janitors had played with the heat and turned it up, and the Los Angeles Lakers were reporting that there was some type of issue with the heat and it caused exhaustion. Obviously more recent with the Miami Heat, the cramp game. The Miami Heat were complaining that the heat was turned up down in San Antonio. There's been situations where the heat has been turned off in the visitors' locker room up in Green Bay. You get my point. There's all kinds of fraudulent and manipulation going on from the home team if you're the away team. So how do you prepare your team for all of the mishaps, all of the sabotaging behavior of the home crowd? What do you do? How do you prepare them for battle? Prepare them for being behind enemy lines. Do you cry? Do you pout? Do you go back and forth all day with the referees or the umpires who are on the take of the home team anyway? When you find out that your oppressor, or the opposition, has already figured out your plays, do you report them immediately before the game starts? What do you do? Now, as always, I like to compare all of my series to the mind, body, and spirit. And I like to use metaphors. So in this scouting report, all of you men and women of God, you have to understand that our team is behind enemy lines. This is not a race conversation or a geographical conversation or a sex conversation. This is a spirit conversation, understanding your enemy. He already knows that you study. He already knows that you pray. He already knows that your family member is sick, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. He already knows that there's a lump on your mama's breast. He already knows that your son is battling sex addiction or pornography. He already knows that one of your family members is battling alcoholism. He already knows that you struggle with anger. He already knows that you're incompetent. He already knows that you can't read the codes at your job where you have to work with different vehicles. He already knows that you're sexually attracted to your boss. He already knows that you flirt with your spouse's family. You get my drift. He already knows that you don't know all of the word. So what do you do? Well, since this is a metaphor, since he knows the playbook, he still doesn't have the player. He doesn't have the master player. When you believe in the Most High, we have a player that they can't mess with. Similar to Jordan in the 90s, Kobe in the early 2000s, Jerry Rice and his pecs, Barry Sanders on a Thanksgiving afternoon, Randy Moss against the Cowboys, Floyd Mayweather pick a day. Muhammad Ali when he's up against the ropes. Jesse Owens when the pressure gets a little bit more heightened. The bottom line is we have the master. We have Yeshua. I'm sorry, I had to pause. We have Yeshua, the Mashiach. We have the one that they call the Christ. We have the Lion of Judah. So it doesn't matter if he knows the playbook or she knows the playbook, y'all. It doesn't matter if they try to put barriers up and all kinds of different obstacle courses. You can study the playbook till you blue in the face, but not to understand who we have on our team to execute, to be victorious. That's a crime within itself. And if the enemy knows that you don't know who's on your team, you don't even know yourself or your self-worth. Again, I apologize for pausing. The wind started to blow and I thought I lost you all. Yeah, we have Yahushua. We have the one that trembles. Demons tremble when they hear his name. We also have been empowered from the Father. Abba. He controls all of this, the airwaves, that wind that you hear blowing possibly in the background of this video. Man, I don't care nothing about what the enemy knows about me. He should obviously know that he can't mess with me. He can be irritable. He can cause irritants to come within my path. He can get me down a little bit. But once I take a deep breath and go back to my corner, once halftime approaches, once I'm able to go to the sideline and get the signals, I take a pause. I observe the defense, or if you're a defender, you have a defensive spirit about yourself. I observe the opposition and the offense. I take a deep breath. I get the signal from the Most High, and I execute. And we not preaching perfection. We preaching progress. But you have to start studying your playbook. And in the playbook, we always win when we understand who's on our team. Well, y'all, I don't want to be long-winded. I just want to say thanks again for tuning in. This is your man Whodidit. Who did it this time, coming at you with another episode of the Scouting Report. And on this one, your enemy knows your playbook, but he doesn't have the master player. Ball game. I'm out.